Darkseid is one of those characters that have crazy ambition, and this universe is no exception when it comes to the comic lore. Yes, the Justice League Unlimited universe has comics that are canon to the universe. Even in this stuff or canon, he has a lot of ambition. Like, you guys know how he's obsessed with the anti-life equation in the main continuity too. So in this Justice League Unlimited universe, it's the same stuff and make him the master of everything. Darkseid. Let's get into it. I like the fact that the publishers at DC understand that the DC multiverse is vast, complex, and a little confusing for the newcomers, so they at least try to organize their different universes of the same characters so we won't get confused on which Superman this story is about or which Flash this story is about. You know, live action, animated, all that stuff can get kind of confusing for a newcomer into this lore. So that's why I respect that DC does little handbooks or guidebooks like this to help the confusion go down a little bit, you know, organizing the cosmology a little bit. Like, for example, in the guidebooks, they actually gave the Justice League Unlimited universe their very own universe, along with other familiar universes you might recognize like Kingdom Come, universes with a female Aquaman, females, gender bent. Characters. Like, they really make it feel like a multiverse when you see bizarre universes like these. But let's analyze the DC animated universe version of the man, the myth, the legend, and the guy that's obsessed with the anti-life equation, Darkseid. He's a being from another world, extremely strong being known as a new god. Yeah, Darkseid is literally a deity, a new god. You get the idea. Just like almost every version of Darkseid, you know, he's the ruler of Apocalypse. It's the same with the DCAU, having his own planet to rule with his own minions, granted good and his own statues and built in his leisure, has his own slaves, along with having his own planet and things like that. He has some gear. So Darkseid, you can say he's scary with prep time because he has gotten a hold of some kryptonite before. I mean, we even seen him pull out a kryptonite knife before. Due to his physiology and genetics, he's born with a whole bunch of crazy abilities that far exceeds a human's imagination. Like his famous blast, you know, the Omega beams or the Omega effect he has. It's convenient that he has beams that can curve and they can incinerate beings on contact, like his own parademons, for example. I mean, he doesn't really have to lay a finger on you. He can just blast you like he did here, like he does his son here. We'll even see him use Omega beams to bully his own kids. It seems that he has telekinesis, how it looks like lightning, but he stops Lex Luthor mid-flight, making him levitate, then blasting him back. It's implied he can float, like how he just floats down here, one can say. I mean, he's got to be strong, always matching and dealing with the Justice League. Not to mention him and Superman have like a legit rivalry. You know, Superman in any universe is ridiculously strong. That brings me to the point that he has crazy durability enhanced by his physiology. I mean, you know you got to be super strong for you to be able to stomp on Superman like this, and it's hard for Superman to get out of it. Or the fact that his slaps affect Superman, so he can hit hard with his fists. And to make matters worse, throughout the series, one could say he's even gotten stronger as time went by. One can argue fusing with this universe version of Brainiac, one can say. This is not the first time we've seen Brainiac in this series fuse with other entities, like how he fused with Lex Luthor here. So Brainiac in this universe be fusing with entities a lot, in turn making them more powerful, of course. Like, you know how bad guys, when they team up, you know, one got to double cross the other. This is kind of like one of them situations with Brainiac and Darkseid. That's kind of how it ended up happening in Justice League, because Darkseid himself is ridiculously smart, and you know, during all this techie stuff, trying to do all this to Superman or whatever, Darkseid is actually pretty smart and has his own tech. As you can see, he hijacked the process.
What have you done?
Just a minor modification to override your control circuits. You are now the instrument of my will.
See, that was this big old asteroid, you know, you see how it looks like Brainiac. One of his many fights with Superman, this fight didn't go so well. Long story short, he actually ended up dying here. So here's the thing. Lex Luthor got like a group of supervillains together. They worked together doing all their magic mumbo jumbo to bring Brainiac back to life, but it backfired. Like, he thought Brainiac was coming back. Nope. And Lex and this group of supervillains accidentally brought Darkseid back to life instead. So that's part of the reason why he went through power evolution. They never really straight up stated he was fused with Brainiac, but the way his outfit looks, it implies it. Plus, he was stronger than he's ever been. You know, progress over time went by. Strength increases. You know, far, far in the future than the Batman Beyond stuff, you get to see kind of more lore on what Darkseid did later on throughout his life after the big events, using the Agony Matrix against Superman here. He went off with Luthor, got the anti-life equation, got to see stuff he's not supposed to see, but at the cost of his blindness and the Omega Force. So no more Mega Beams, he can't see. It all came at a cost. So he's kind of, one could say, dang near close to depowered in the far, far future. Way further in the future in the Batman Beyond saga stuff. And that's why Orion has the throne far, far in the future. Don't be surprised if you see me bring up Superman several times. I mean, they kind of be fighting each other a lot, so it's kind of important to understand his strength by analyzing Superman's strength. So don't be surprised if you hear me bring up Superman a lot. Like, he has colossal super strength. He can lift up stuff that weighs hundreds or even close to 1,000 tons. other beings that are in Darkseid's family who are super strong too and have enhanced physiology who are super strong too, but one can say they're not as strong as Darkseid. Like Darkseid's son, like he was able to put him in a bear hug this tight with his super strength to show his superiority to knock him out that way. So with all this super strength, it's obvious he can punch hard, right? I mean, he was able to squeeze Superman's hand hard enough to where it made him go on his knees. And he's able to hit this hard to make Superman bleed, even punching him so hard here to damage him to shake the entire castle. So it's obvious his punches or fists down here can shake entire buildings, duh. And his fist and super strength is deadly. And I already mentioned this earlier in the video. His blast might even be worse because he can do the Omega beams and do significant damage to Superman himself. Like, it's one thing to have durability, but it's one thing to have durability on a level where you can take straight up blunt hits from Superman over and over again, catch his hand, and crush his hand with your grip strength. That's another level of strength and durability. Being in the same weight class with this version of Superman is more impressive than you think, making him go down in pain, overpowering him with muscle, considering we've seen the Superman in the comic lore along with Green Lantern actually move the entirety of the moon, like in this occasion, working together. This Superman at least moved half the weight of the moon, so for Darkseid to overpower him like that, this is more of a big deal than you would expect. Having similar physical strength to somebody that can move the moon, that would imply if he was put in that same situation, he could be able to move the moon as well with his super strength. And I'm not even counting when he's amped up by Brainiac or powered up more than ever before. I'm not even talking about this. Just simply like this, if he's anywhere in the ballpark with Superman in physical strength, if he was put in that same situation, one could say he could move half the weight of the moon if he had to, with his muscles. It's easy for you to not understand why this is impressive because even DCAU Superman's durability is so crazy, he can withstand stuff that can blow up a star. And he's able to punch this hard and stuff when he's in this form. This is not even talking about his Brainiac enhanced revived form. When he's like this, even if Superman's made progress, like even in newer stuff, we see him damage him real bad with his kicks. And you know how Superman always holds back even in this series? This Darkseid was able to overpower a Superman that actually was going all out here.
What we have here is a rare opportunity for me to cut loose, and show you just how powerful I really am.
And Darkseid stayed conscious from all-out attacks from Superman, and even countered him with this agony matrix. Not only Superman, but Supergirl, somebody that's somewhere in his ballpark of strength. Superman's cousin actually punches Darkseid, and he just makes him more mad. And he takes another hit and another. Why is this stuff impressive? It seems like there's writer intent no matter which part of the timeline we're talking about. It seems like the writers always want Superman and Darkseid to be somewhere in the same level of power, even if we're talking about the newest movies, comics. It just seems like a common theme of him to always be in that level of power with Superman. The same Superman that can withstand stuff that can blow up stars. His body can withstand this kind of stuff.
All we need to do is destroy their sun. We destroy the sun, the eye. It contains all the power of the Lantern's battery. It will rip that infernal star apart.
And we literally see Superman, DCAU Superman, right next to this crap that can blow away a star, guys. Look how large this explosion is. He's in the middle of all that, and it starts ripping the star apart. Like, you literally see the sun cracking apart. Superman was in an explosion that did all that. So DCAU Superman can withstand a lot, guys. And Darkseid can punch and damage being this durable. This says a lot about Darkseid, considering that even the biggest planets are not as big as a sun, meaning that this Darkseid can easily level multiple planets the size of Earth, even large planets. His fist will be more destructive than stuff that could shatter multiple planets like this, basically, if he can damage Superman this bad. Basically, his fist hitting your face will basically feel like multiple planets like this smacking you in the face. Or knowing how big the sun is compared to the biggest planets, small planets like Earth wouldn't stand a chance against his fist. You know what I'm saying? Or even large planets like this he could destroy if his hits can affect beings that can withstand stuff that can rip stars that are this big apart. That's a lot of punching power you probably didn't know he had. One can look at it and say that his blast power could do the same when it comes to having the blast power to level a planet like Jupiter, a large planet or something, with his blast power, deleting such a planet. Here's something interesting about Darkseid and Superman when it comes to the DCAU or Justice League Unlimited universe. Yes, Superman has defeated him in the past, like here for example, but technically in this newer powered up state, when he technically got empowered by Brainiac or infused with Brainiac, Superman never actually won this fight. One could argue he might have surpassed Superman, but it's really hard to prove that since we didn't see him in a new movie. Justice League vs. Fatal 5. Who really knows who's stronger at this point, considering that Darkseid in this new state is on a completely different level than he used to be. So who really knows? Just know he's insane regardless of how you look at it. Regardless of which one you want to talk about, he's still a deity at the end of the day. So I think we all could agree that he's way above planet shattering, but how strong do you think he is at best? Do you think in this new Brainiac infused state, do you think he can destroy a larger sun, or nah, just the normal size sun? I want to hear your thoughts on that. He can at least probably tremble the sun at the very least, as a bare minimum, right? Especially when he's powered up like this, right? It makes you wonder how potent is his Omega beams blasting now. Green Lanterns, like Guy Gardner, who makes a battlesuit construct, Darkseid, he calls the Green Lantern a distraction. Smacks the Green Lantern here. I just really no need to go over his speed. He should have similar combat speed to Superman, meaning that he can fight way faster than speeding bullets, because Superman can fight faster than speeding bullets. It only makes sense. No need to really go over that. Not to mention Superman has light speed feats. You know, the standard stuff DC characters got to go through. What do you guys think? Did you expect him to be this strong? Did you know this? Or did you learn something new? I want to hear your thoughts below. But before I get going, I got to say, respect his strength at least. And thanks for the donations, everybody. It helps out a lot. Respect the Darkseid from the DCAU, Justice League Unlimited, Justice League the Animated Series, comics, all that. Respect it. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.